Now we deep in the game, feel the heat from the flame. The streets creeping my veins, make you weep from the pain. You will sleep in the brain if you think you can hang, cause the simple and plain will leave you crippled and slain. Now we deep in the game, feel the heat from the flame. The streets creeping my veins, make you weep from the pain. You will sleep in the brain if you think you can hang, cause the simple and plain will leave you crippled and slain.
Hello?
Hey man, there's a car on my ass, and they coming up quick and looking mean through the glass.
For real, where you at? I'm out south, I'll come and find you. You know who it is and how long they been behind you?
Oh, about 20 minutes, but I don't know who's in it. And my windows is tinted, I'm about to let them feel it.
Don't do that yet, that's the way you catch a case.
Just wait till you start out by letting y'all hear another song me and my buddy Adam made a while back. Half of this is me, half of this is my buddy Adam.
Then I wanna
shout
be
out,
included. Make
shout
them call
out.
you to a spot and make sure that it's secluded.
What about that spot down by the lake? Meet me there in 10 minutes and don't be late.
Well, I'm on my way and be prepared for a slaughter. We deep in the game, let's make them deep in the water.
Now we deep in the game, feel the heat from the flame. The streets creeping my veins, make you weep from the pain. You will sleep in the brain if you think
I won't punish y'all by making y'all listen to the rest of it, but
now we deep in the game, feel the heat from the flame. The streets
well,
creeping
might
my
as well.
veins, make you weep from the
I'm
pain.
still waking
You
up
will
this
sleep in the
morning, so
brain if you think
here's
you can hang,
verse
cause
2.
the simple and plain will leave you crippled and slain.
I just hit the spot, but I don't see his truck. Am I at the wrong place? That'd be just my luck. Sit back and spark the Dutch, throw it in park, pop the clutch, turn the radio down so I can hear him rolling up.
It won't be long now, just hit that third exit. They still right behind me, things about to get hectic. Oh man, almost feel sorry for these boys. They ain't got no clue that they just made a bad choice.
3 minutes past 5, but it seems like an hour. Adrenaline starts to flow, building up that power. I hit gravel, there it is, now it's time to go. Turn off the keys, hop out and shut the door.
Now I'm right around the corner and it's about to go down. See my man up in the cut, laying low to the ground. I just hop out and give them boys 2 fingers, by 2 slides in them when you're fooling with them straight.
Y'all just have to suffer through one more verse.
Hold on. Creeping my veins, make you weep from the pain. You will sleep in the brain
I'm
if
not
you
late,
think you can
I'm
hang,
here.
cause the simple and plain will leave you crippled and slain. Now we deep in the game, feel the heat from the flame. The streets creeping my veins, make you weep from the pain. You will sleep in the brain if you think you can hang, cause the simple and plain.
We taking over this game.
Alright guys, that was me and my buddy Adam from a long time ago. I was half of that duo. That was probably nearly 15 years ago. Morning, Knives Are Live. By the way, good morning, Mr. Michael, Mr. Pete, Mr. TC, and Mr. Bob. Hope you gentlemen are doing great this morning. So, let's start this off like we always do, talking about what I carried last night. I bead blasted this, and I bead blasted the SLT that we're going to be anoing black today. And I like this one a lot better since I've bead blasted it. So I carried that most of the night, along with my Vespa. I'm about to have to put an edge on this Vespa because I've used it so much. But I did a little stropping to it last night, and it is back to pretty sharp. We are going to do some black anodizing today. I have got all the stuff laying here. I have not assembled it yet. I thought we would do that together. I do need to grab one thing across here. Good morning, Mr. Drummer. So, there are numerous ways to go about doing black ano. We are going to cover one of them, the easiest one. But before we do that, we're going to look at a few things this morning. So, I need to get alerts set up for certain knives that I want so that I know when they're released. I've got one that I've talked about on stream numerous times, and that was a Monterey Bay Knives knife, and I knew they were going to be coming soon, but I didn't know when. But evidently they are live now, so I went ahead and grabbed one, and that is the Futura. I think it's a super clean design. It reminds me a little bit of the Mr. designs with its simplicity. They do offer a couple of different versions of it. They offer the satin one, which is the one I got. Then they have the DLC one also for $25 more. And I'm guessing you can request different color handles, including black ones. I don't know, because I hope the one I ordered looks like they have carbon fiber as well, but blade is DLC coated on this one. Not sure how you order the different models though. That's what kind of confused me. I sure don't want to get that. Maybe you can. Maybe does it come with all three scales? I guess maybe it does come with all three scales. If so, that's pretty awesome. Now that I look at it, they probably do come with all three scales, and they have the magnets that hold them in. So, yeah, that's cool. You can swap it out according to what you're feeling like that day. Morning, Andrew. That's actually really cool. I wasn't paying attention. I was half awake when I ordered it. Yeah, it looks like it comes with all three, and you can just swap it out. So you got carbon fiber, black micarta, and Zerblast titanium. Mr. Heat doesn't turn titanium dark. Heat turns titanium a certain color. You can't darken titanium by heating it. You can turn it blue, and you can turn it gold, blue, and purple, but you can't turn it black. Yeah, and as Mr. Bob said, the Honey Badger is coming soon, which looks like another great little knife. Super cool, super cool. You can use WD-40 to darken titanium, but on bigger things like scales, it will actually warp them. It's a lot easier to do the WD-40 technique on smaller parts like pivots or clips, etc. But yeah, you can see how good this bead blast, it made these look brand new basically. So they had a bunch of snails on them yesterday, and now they're clean again. And I guess if y'all don't have anything else you want to look at just right away, we can go ahead and start getting this taken care of. Except that I don't know where my little, oh, here they are. Wow, they're up underneath everything. Got a mess going on here. All right. Let's see what we got here. So, like I said, there's a few different ways to anodize titanium black. One is with WD-40, where you heat it up with a torch and then dunk it in WD-40. And that works great for smaller parts, but like I said, you have to get it so hot and the cooling down right away. Bigger things like scales will warp. So you don't want that to happen. Then there's a second way with this stuff right here. Manganese sulfate. It comes in big bags. It is fertilizer. And that's the method we're going to do. And then you can use hydrochloric and sulfuric acid warmed to a temperature of 60 to 100 Celsius. And then you apply the voltage to that mixture. But it is very caustic and produces a gas and needs to be done outside. So I would say you probably should not do that until you're well versed in the art of anodization. All right, so let's see here. Where do we start? Well, a lot of people want to know the correct mixture. How much manganese sulfate do you need? So you need 3 to 4 grams per liter. So the vessel I'm going to use is about 1 liter. And it is this little Tupperware here with a clasp on lid. It's a tall one. Doesn't take up too much space. So we're going to be using this right here to anodize it. This is about 1 liter, so we need 3 to 4 grams. I'm going to put 5 grams just to make sure I've got enough. And normally I usually use about 6 grams. Almost a quarter, actually, drummer. All right, so let me get... Last time I did this, I made a mess. I got these beads everywhere, and I think one of those little beads might have been what laid on the side of one of my knives and made a spot. Well, I don't, So here's one of my original anodes, and that is a bent spoon that I used to use on the inside of here. Anode, cathode. Let's see what we got here. Wow, way too much. About twice as much as I needed. Like I said, I usually use about 6 grams. Dang. If you use too much, it doesn't hurt. Better to use more than not enough. But there's 6 grams, so we're going to put that in there. All right. Got that? 2 fingers. Yeah, you wish nowadays. All right, let me get this back out of the way. Second thing you need is distilled water. I've got a gallon of distilled water. It is super cheap. It's like $1 a gallon, a little over $1 a gallon. But you definitely need distilled water. So I'm also going to move this off the table so I don't make a mess. and fill it up with distilled water. Then I'm going to use the obligatory chopstick that's laying around to get it all stirred up good and mixed up good. Cathode. It's the cathode that goes in the liquid. The titanium becomes the anode. Now, there's a weird process that happens sometimes, and I don't think anybody can figure it out, but it creates a black, powdery, flaky stuff in this concoction, and I've not figured out why. I've also, if you're going to be going straight from however your scales are from the factory to going to black, you're going to need to etch them with either multi-etch or wink. I am going to hope that I don't need to do that because I just bead blasted them. I hope that opened up the pores enough. I need to go grab one more thing off the shelf in here. Give me just a second. Let me go grab some rubber gloves. And I'll be right back. Hold on, I didn't get any gloves. All right, I had some rubber gloves out here in my garage. Let me let me get back over here. Oh yeah, I need to get my cups of water. You need to do a double rinse. Nick just mentioned that. So, I got that now. Yeah, you need a couple of cups for your double rinse technique. I swear I'm going to make better positioning here in a second. Rinse station. One of them can be deeper than the other one. If you make the other one shallower, you can get your hand into it to get them out. All right. We got more distilled water. Yeah, I love the look of raw titanium. All right. Now, I've upgraded to this cathode, where I used to use the spoon. No, mister, I'm not, because I had issues with that last time I did that. I'm not going to change the voltage in between, so they should match regardless, but all right, now I've got the leads of my power supply over here. Going to connect the negative to the back. I haven't done this in a minute. I feel a little rusty, but once you learn it, it's kind of like riding a bike. And if you ever get these backwards, all you have to do is flip them if nothing happens. All right. So, now I'm going to put on a glove so that I do not touch the scales with my bare hands. And I'm going to clean off, let's see. I've got titanium wire back here. Here's a piece. It's a good idea to have titanium wire. Where's my alcohol? This is not my new power supply. They have not shipped it yet. We are going to do a 60 volt job on this one. I'm going to set this to 60 volts and let's see, 2 amps. All right, so I got paper towel, I got a glove. I'm going to use some alcohol. We'll about run out of this bottle of alcohol. I'm going to clean off my little wire really good that I'm going to use to hold them down in there. It's been laying around and I haven't used it in a while, so good idea to just clean it off. Don't want to introduce any other things into the mix. And then I'm going to, let's start with the clip. It's something small that we can do. I'm just wiping this off with alcohol really good. As you can see, it has got alcohol on it, and here shortly it will not have alcohol on it. Alcohol is gone. Flip it over and wipe off the back. Same thing, alcohol on it, alcohol. Amazon sells titanium wire, and you can get it in any kind of thickness you want. I've got some extra right here. And since we're working with so little amperage and voltage and wattage total, any size wire is going to conduct plenty of electricity. So I'm simply just going to hook the clip on this titanium wire here. All right, we got that hooked on there. I'm going to attach my red wire to it. And if I got my plugs plugged in right, we should be good. And we're just going to go down in there and see what happens. I will rinse it after I'm done. But let's see what we get here. So I'm watching the screen over here to watch the wattage, and I will stop them at the same basic place. All right, it got down to about 3 watts. And as you can see, it is now black. So I'm going to dip it in here and I'm going to drop it over there. So it is sitting in this cup in the water down there. All right. I'm going to repeat that process with the first side of the scales. I'm going to, let's do the clip side first, I guess. Get my little rag with my alcohol on it. And take wipe it down. I had already done this, but I'm not going to worry about the inside because I know I did already wipe this down. But wipe that down with alcohol, let it dry up. Then I will hook in back here at the back on this one as well. I don't want to touch it, but you can see right here, I've got it hooked on the titanium wire with the red lead. And we're just going to go down in here and do the same thing again. You see it start to darken up and then turn black. And luckily we are not getting any of the weird chunky stuff. I probably should have added a little more distilled water, but we're going to let that sit. Whoops, make sure it doesn't touch the cathode. We'll let that sit in there until it drops down to around the 4 watts that I did with the clip. It's going to take it a little longer because of how big of a piece of a titanium that is. I'm at 20 watts. It's counting down slowly. Let me see if I can show you what's going on with the power supply. Let's see. Where's my IV cam thing? There it is. All right, let me flip this camera. Blah, blah, blah. Vertical, portrait, apply. All right, over here on my phone, you can see that it is dropping the wattage. I've got it at 60 volts. And if I move it around here, I've got a mess over here. You can see that the wattage will keep dropping. And you want to try to do it until they both reach around the same point. But they will kind of stop at a certain point. Let me turn this back off. All right. So it's down to 16 now. I'm probably just going to stick with that. It's changed as much as it's going to. I'm going to do the first dunk. Then I'm going to drop it down in the second one. All right. And then last but not least, we got the last section of scales. Yeah, mine goes up to 3. I use 2 amps, but 1 amp is plenty. You don't have to worry about a bunch of amps. All right, where's my paper towel again? My alcohol has about all gone away, but I did just wipe these down with alcohol before putting them on the table, so should be good. Actually, let me get a little more alcohol and make sure I do that one properly. Just wiping them down once good. You can use acetone or alcohol. And you can see that this, I put a lot of alcohol on there. It'll start drying up. I've got a fan over here beside me. I'm going to hold it up there for a second. And it basically is about to all be gone. One little spot up there. Actually, all right. All right. Got that done. We're going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to hook the back of it into the back back here. You see I've got it on the titanium wire. And I'm going to go down in there and let it do its thing. I need to add a little bit more water here. It's up at 40 watts right now. I can show you again kind of what's going on with the power supply. It's not going to use that full 2 amps. But see, it's dropping. It dropped down from 40. Still dropping. No, this doesn't work on blade steel. You have to use ferric chloride for that. You can see it's still dropping over there. See, we're getting the chunks a little bit now, I think. There's little black stuff that shows up at certain times, and I don't like it. All right, I'm going to call that one there, dip it over here, and I'm going to drop it down in here, and we are basically done. So I'm going to turn off my power supply first thing, and take my leads, and take my little piece of titanium wire that I used and set it over here to the side. Unhook my black one. Set it to the side. Get these cups of water out of the way so I don't make a mess. The reason I love this thing is because when I used to use the spoon in it, give me just a second. So when I used the spoon in it, I could actually clamp the lid onto it with the spoon still in it. But these 4-way clamping lids work great. All right. Now with the other method that I mentioned, the hydrofluoric and sulfuric acid, you can build up a much thicker coating on there. And you can do type 2 and type 3 anodizing. You have to introduce some other processes to do a type 3, but you can build all the way up to like a 1 millimeter thick coating. All right, let's see what these look like. Now, I've only done this a handful of times, actually only 3 or 4 times, and we've done like 20 volts, we've done like 60 volts and 90 volts. So I thought we would try 60 volts today. This other side has a couple of spots on it that I don't like, that I kind of noticed when I was wiping it with alcohol, and it's a little bit different shade also. Something happened. We started getting the black flakes, and this happened last time, and I was able to take it and just re-dip it again, and it caught back up. So we're going to try that, since I got a different shade of black, and I don't know what that entails. I should have etched them with some multi-etch before we did this. But I don't know if you can see, but there's like There's some little black pieces down in there. Yeah, this one is lighter for sure. And it's got some spots on it that I don't like. So, we're going to attempt. Yeah, you might need a fresh pot every time. Like, that might be part of the reason. I'm starting to think that, mister. I think that it uses up some of the... It converts some of these little balls into whatever it's doing to the metal. Some of the stuff is getting converted into the black. But last time I did it, it fixed the spots that I had on the second one when I redid it. So I'm just very simply going to, I have not touched this much, but I am going to re-wipe it off with alcohol. We're just going to go right back at it. We're not going to hesitate. We're going to see if, because we need to work out some of these kinks. And I'm showing you the process. I put too much in it and only so much will dissolve, Nick. It gets to a saturation point. But you can see the little black chunks floating around in there now. Anybody that does this more than once will know about the little black chunks. It doesn't have to, if you put too much, it won't all dissolve, because the water can only absorb a certain amount of it. All right, I'm just wiping this off with alcohol where I might have touched it. Hold it up to the fan. They do make better, higher qualities of it. I'm not sure about a powder form. Let me get my little titanium wire, hook back up my negative. All right, grab my positive over here, hook it up. Grab the knife scale again. Go back in, turn on the power supply. We're going to see what happens here. It is doing something, that's for sure. I think it did darken it up. I think it might have fixed those two spots. I didn't claim to be a professional at this. Just done it a few times, and I know the process. Whoops. Well, that's annoying. It's like playing Operation. Come on. There we go. All right. That did get it darker. Pretty close to the same matching color. But it still has those couple of little spots in the middle, and I don't know what's up with that. but it is a lot closer to the same color now. Let me turn off my power supply and get my stuff put up here again. We will take a look at what we got. As you can see, they are much closer to the same color now. And luckily you can't see both sides of the scales at once. Trying to get my big meaty mitt down in here to get this clip out of here. I'm probably going to spill some water, but see how the clip matches. Nope, I was actually able to get it out without spilling water, so that was a plus this morning as well. So I've got a double hook over here somewhere, but I couldn't find it this morning. That is the main reason why we didn't do both pieces at once. The clip looks like you could use, I think. So what you can do, let me show you here, is you can take, now titanium wire gets super brittle and breaks easily. Where is my little pair of vice grips that I'm supposed to have around here at all times? Well, I grabbed my big set. So you can take and you can make a little thing here. To where you can hang both of them at the same time. Let me do it with the little titanium. I've already got one made over here, but let me show you what I'm talking about here. So what I do, since I like trying to keep it even, is I take both ends, I take one end, go like this, make it as long as I want to make it, come back down like this, make the other little side, cut it off, and you can make your little hook here, make a hook on this side, make a hook on this side. And I want the current to flow from where it's connected to each piece equally. You can make other versions of this type of tee, but I like making one like this to where they both come off the same main wire. And then what I do is I usually twist it like this to hold itself together. Like this right here. Then you can take and you can hook both scale on here at the same time. One on that side, one on this side, and you can do them both at the same time off of the same piece of titanium wire. That would probably be a good idea. Last time I tried that, it seemed like the current wanted to go the path of least resistance, and it anodized one of them before the other one, not at the exact same time. The current wants to try to find the path of least resistance. So that's the only issue I had when using one of these. And you can also put a little bend at the top up here to where you can hook it on the edge of your container. Yeah, I've got one over here. I just don't know. I've misplaced it. But last time I did this, for some reason, they didn't anodize evenly regardless. But that is the process of black anodization. Now, refining that process is up to you by doing it more. I wish this was darker. This kind of looks brown. I might bust out the whole thing again just to try to darken the clip. Let's do that. Might as well. Ain't no thing but to do it. I will make sure to clean it off fully again. See if the double dip techniques fixes it too. All right. Alcohol cleaned off. I don't have my gloves on, so I'm going to carefully use the wire I just made right here. Power supply back on. Hook up my lead and go back in. All right. Yeah, I try to make it where it all comes off the middle and then it branches off at the end. It just seems like a better path of electricity. You can see those chunks down in there now. I don't know, anybody that has used this stuff to anodize titanium black will tell you about the black chunky stuff and that they can't figure out why and when it happens. It is totally weird and random. Do it a few times and you'll see what I mean. We've gotten everything we're going to get out of that, whatever that is. All right. Once again, get my stuff out of the way. And yes, it did darken it up. It is a lot closer to the other ones now. Yeah, Pete, you'll definitely get the black chunks originally. I think it might be good to change the mixture after every time or something. I think it uses up some of the chemical, some of the manganese or some of the sulfate. All right. So, I said we would do acid washing the blade also today. Not sure if I still want to do that or not. I think we'll go. Let me give me just a second to find something I want to show y'all. Whoops. So we watched a video right here from this guy.
You're gonna start seeing bubbles rise from.
All right, so let's watch it again and watch his process. Somebody that does it for a living. So he uses
the test piece.
a little bit different technique, but
At least getting a lot of the handle parts fit up. But for now, I wanted to answer a bunch of questions that I've gotten about how do you blacken titanium. I've been making these folders. These are the Astra folder that I've been making, and I've been blackening the handle scales because I think it looks really, really cool. And I learned that you could do that from a guy in France. His name's David Lespect, and he turned me onto this chemical. It is a fertilizer, and you can mix it in distilled water and electro-anodize your titanium black. It's a very nice black too. It's not kind of gray, it's black. It's very black. So to do this, you're gonna need to get a few things. Obviously, you're gonna need to get this manganese sulfate, and you're gonna need distilled water. Distilled water only. Other stuff has impurities in it, and it enters other factors into your process that you can't control. You're also gonna need some sort of container. I use a Tupperware container. It's very simple, it's easy to use. You're also gonna need a DC power supply regulator, so you
I just noticed that he doesn't leave any solution sitting around, so he mixes it up fresh every time.
You can do all kinds of different colors.
So that's probably a good process to do.
TSP. You can do it with the manganese sulfate as well, but this really gets reliable results as far as electro-anodizing for purple and blue and vibrant colors, very interesting colors. But for the black, you need the manganese sulfate. So I have two containers, one for the TSP and one for the manganese sulfate, depending on what I want to do. So to do this, you want to get your manganese sulfate, and I really don't measure any of this. Maybe you should, so you get reliable results, but I just kind of coat the bottom of my container. Distilled
Nick,
water.
I'm wondering if all distilled water is equal.
Fill her up. And
I think the distilled water might have something to do with the black little flecks too, but maybe not.
The little beads in this particular form, they're a bunch of little beads, fertilizer beads, and they'll dissolve. They'll continue to dissolve as you go. This is what it looks like right now. You can see it's dissolving in there. And if you stir it up, it gets real cloudy. So another couple things you're going to need are some pieces of titanium, obviously the piece that you want to anodize, and you need a piece that's going to go on your negative lead because you want a submerged titanium piece on one side.
Doesn't have to be titanium.
On the negative lead, and then you want your piece connected to the positive lead on the DC power pack. I've got this crusty, nasty piece of titanium that I've been using. It gets this way when you use it a lot, and so you got to go through and clean it up every now and then. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sandblast all these pieces. These are just test pieces, but definitely want to make sure this is clean. So here's what these pieces look like after sandblasting. So here's the piece that I'm using for the negative lead on my power pack, and these are my two sample pieces. Nice and clean. All right, so you've got your negative lead coming out here. This is black, and I've got a hole drilled specifically for this banana clip that will sit over here. You could clamp it so that it doesn't fall in. This solution is pretty hard on these connectors, so you'll probably have to change out connectors every now and then. Then on the positive side, I've got an alligator clip. You can see where the solution is kind of eating away this banana clip. It still works, but it's pretty messed up. So on the positive lead, I've got this piece of titanium with a hook on the end. And that's what I hook up to the positive side, and I can submerge things. It's also got a hole in it with tapped 256
Yeah, he tapped some
thread.
screws,
That's
which is
what I
pretty
use for my
cool.
screws. And I can submerge it in there, or you can just drop your piece in there and then turn your power pack on and touch it with this, and it will anodize your piece. All right, so now that we have this set up, we've got the negative lead over here, we've got our positive lead ready. Sorry, I had to move over here because my light died and I don't know where the cord is, so probably better over here anyway. All right, so we've got negative lead set up. Now we just need to submerge our test piece. So here's our test piece, and one way you can do this is submerge it and then touch it with this. So I'm going to try that first. I've got the power pack set on 45.9 volts, so somewhere around there is going to be what you want for this. All right, here
You
we
can
go.
do a range of voltages also.
So you're going to start seeing bubbles rise from the test piece. You're also going to see it rise from the negative side as well. Now this is going to take 5 minutes. I'm going to start a 5-minute timer.
I don't like laying it on the stuff in the bottom of the container because I'm afraid that'll affect where it touches. So that's why I don't let it sit in the bottom like that, but
Okay, it's been a little bit over 5 minutes and we're black. About 7 minutes, maybe a little bit more, because I didn't start my timer right when it
I probably could have gone a little longer, but it wasn't changing much of the...
We're going to use paper towels. Now I'm going to use some oil because I like the way oil looks on it. So I've got a bit of an oily rag here. Kind of protects the finish a little bit too. I don't want it really wet with oil, but I think it looks nice. All right, there is the before and after.
He
Pretty
didn't do
impressive.
anything after bead blasting.
It's a really, really nice black color.
He had to rinse it off
very
because I
easy
didn't
to
see
do.
any bead blasting media still on it. I am happy with the result, except for this spot in the middle. I don't know what I've done there. And like he said, it's good to take oil because your finger oils are going to make spots all over it. So you might as well go ahead and just oil it. And what I do is I take a little bit of WD-40 and put it on a paper towel. And then I just hit it with the WD-40 and then I wipe it off. But that kind of evens out everything. And like I said, once you start touching a knife, the oils from your hands will make it turn oily. So that is also what I did with the Dixon that I bead blasted last night. When I put it back together, I wiped it down with some WD-40. Let me find my rag over here to kind of wipe it off. All right, so there's the clip. There's one side with the spots on it. I don't know what I did there. I might not have bead blasted it long enough in that area. No telling. Surface prep is very important. I did it in the middle of the night out in my garage about 2 a.m. So take that for what you want. But as you can see, it does have some little spots on the side. But as far as the color goes, I'm happy with it. It's even everywhere. They do look very close to the same. The light's hitting them at different angles, so they are very close. All right, someone said they wanted to see some acid wash on the blade. I need to wash this thing very fully. So, yeah, it might have, Nick. I think I was pretty careful, but who knows? I'm a little haphazard around here, so I would like to use acetone. I've got acetone in there. Let me throw on a rubber glove really quick and run out here to my acetone. Let me go clean this off with acetone, and I'll be right back. Y'all talk amongst yourselves for a second. All right, I'm back. I've got a big can of acetone out there that I use all the time for different stuff. I put some on a paper towel, and I have been wiping this off. Acetone is super cold. It's an odd stuff. So this should be fully cleaned with acetone now. Let me get a fresh paper towel here. Lay that down. Get my acetone rag out of the way. I'm gonna leave my glove on for a second. All right. So, to do this other process, I am going to put down a doubled over mat just to kind of protect this bench. But I've got a jar of ferric chloride over here. This is just ferric chloride in a glass jar. I don't know about keeping it long term, and I don't know about getting this lid off. All right, there we go. So, I'm going to take a piece of this titanium wire that I've got that I started to bend. I'm going to use it to keep the blade from falling down in there and being hard to get out. Where's the hole? That's what she said. All right. Got the blade cleaned good. Got some ferric chloride, and I'm just going to dip it down in here and hope that I don't lose my little hook. There we go. We're going to start a timer for like 5 minutes. So at 9:08, while I'm doing this, I'm going to get my other cup of water, and I'm going to add some bisodium carbonate or some baking soda to it to stop the process. Give me just a second. All right. I've got some, I bought some real sodium bicarbonate I bought 500 grams of professional grade, but this is the same stuff that baking soda is. So I'm going to just add some of this. Probably, but you can always sand down the buildup if you need to. Yes, you should have. I forgot that part, TC, because I rushed into it because I wasn't going to do it. And then Mr. wanted to see it. But yes, I should have covered the pivot area with nail polish. Good call, TC. So I've got my water mixed with sodium bicarbonate. But it'll wear off the coating on the detent track once it runs back and forth. And this knife has got these big, huge, giant pivots, and it should be fine. But yes, do not learn from my example on this one. Oh my God, I about dropped it. All right, we haven't been quite 5 minutes. No, I didn't do it, Pete. It's all good, though. I wasn't going to do it this morning, but Mr. wanted to see it, so it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt anything. I can always sand off around the pivot. You can always hit the back. It's just going to build a layer up. It's just going to make it thicker. It's not going to take any off or anything. So, no harm, no foul. You can, yeah, lock face, pivot track, and hole. And, yeah. So, a couple more minutes. We're at 3 minutes. But like I said, since this is adding material, really, you can just sand off the areas that are too built up. So it removes material, doesn't add material? I guess so, since it's etching it. It makes sense. Thought it built up a layer, but I'm about to drop this thing. Yep, I knew it. I lost it. I better start trying to get it out now, because by the time I get to it, all right, I got it. Maybe I'm backwards then. Been about 4 minutes. I'm going to stop there and see what we got. Then I'm going to put it in here to stop the process. I'm going to go wash this off in the sink really quick. I will be right back, guys. The reason I thought it built up a layer is because it definitely builds up a layer. When you go to wash it off, you have to wipe off a pretty thick layer of stuff to get it to the original color, or get it back to the color that it's supposed to be. But here's what we got. Let me put this back up out of the way. Set it back over here where it lives all the time. Get this out of the way. We will look at the blade. Now, I didn't do a very long process either because I didn't want to do it very dark. But you can see it turned out very even, very nice looking. And since I didn't do it very long, the fact that I forgot to paint with nail polish, and that's what makes this group chat great, is y'all remember the stuff that I forget. I know I'm supposed to be the teacher, but y'all help me stay on track. I'm just taking a little bit of oil and doing the same thing that I did with the scales with the blade, so that, because it will pick up oils the same way. So just taking a little bit of WD-40, wiping it down good, and then I will wipe off all the excess, and we will reassemble this thing. See if we have lock rock. But there it is. All right. Let's get this thing reassembled. It doesn't have many parts, so let's see. Lock bar insert is always first. Let me grab my 2 wrenches over here. Color coded. T6 is always my little copper colored one, and T8 is my gray one. What is going on with the... There we go. Man, it's hot. It's hot in here this morning. I don't like it. All right, lock bar insert. Back in. Yeah, it is super hot in here this morning. Sweating. All right, big part of the pivot goes on this side. And we got our little race washer. Might as well put a little bit of Earl on this thing. Using your fingers is the absolute best way, in my opinion, to oil bearings. All right. Got that done one-handed. We set this where it doesn't get oil on anything. All right. Standoff I should have done first, but just got one, so not too worried about getting it in there. Let me see here. If I can get this started. Well, is it a T? Is it a T6? No. It does not feel like it wants to start properly. Come on. There we go. Should have put the standoff in when I did my lock bar insert. But no harm, no foul. Other bearing sitting over here. Other washer. Oh, my clip. Hey, it's all right. It goes in on from the outside, so. Come on. Something worked right for me this morning. Of course it's not going to. These must be titanium screws. They definitely are. They are non-magnetic. All right, come on, act right. There we go, finally. I usually put the pivot in first, but I don't actually have something to put the pivot on right with. Need like a dime. Let me see if I got some change over here beside me. Do I have a dime? I've got a big Phillips head. Aha, I do have a dime. Or a nickel. Nickel works perfect. All right, that feels pretty good. Centering looks good. Put the clip back on. I get really mad when I forgot to put clips on that attach from the inside. Luckily this one attaches from the outside, so no harm, no foul again. And there you have it. You have a knife that was silver that now isn't silver. Hopefully y'all are still with me. Didn't go quite as dark as I would prefer, and I don't like those spots for sure, so you know I will bead blast this thing and totally redo it again. That's the lucky part of having a cabinet. No lock rock. I didn't build up much of any kind of layer on it. Will do, Mr. Nick. Let me see what you got going on there. Oh, the Marfione Select LUDT. Pretty sweet. That's actually really sweet. And if y'all don't mind, smash that like button. It is pretty expensive, but it is super cool. $549. Yeah, I like that one, Nick. So, yeah, at least you know the process now, and you can refine it and get results that you want. I think I'm happy with where it's at. I like how the SLT looks on the blade. That's super cool. And the Kaiser logo. With some oil on it. Blade looks good though. Very even. So you could put this in. I've got a vibratory tumbler. And we could stonewash that. I think I'm going to leave it like it is right now. But yeah, at least you know a little bit about the process now, if you didn't before. I'm okay with where it's at. Thank you, Nick, by the way. I'm going to actually try to put up some of my stuff over here. I was going to try to pull out the other SLT so we can look at a before and after kind of picture. Give me just a second to grab my other SLT. My back is hurting this morning. That's no good. All right, so this is basically what it started out looking like. Let me show the clip side, since the clip side looks better on the black one. But there you go. Before and after. See you later, Robin. Yeah, luckily I had two of these. I bought this one to do a project on. I was going to ano it a real bright color and mirror polish the blade. So we might still do that to this one since I got to bead blast it again anyway. We might bead blast it, ano it a real bright green with a purple clip or something, and then do a mirror polish on the blade. I'm guessing, yeah. Definitely not titanium. All right. I can't believe I didn't notice that the Futura came with all three of the scales on it. That's pretty cool. I'm kind of excited about that now. And now I know why they were a little more expensive. But yeah, can't wait to get that one in. Being able to swap those magnetic scales out will be super cool. Wish they showed pictures of the other inserts in the knife, though. Or inlays. Micarta, titanium. And I also had planned on doing my titanium inlay this video, but since we did the blackening, we will have to do that on another day. But just so you know, I have not done that yet. It is still sitting over there ready to go, along with the disassembled knife still laying there ready to go. Oh, Dark Water has one. Yeah, I wish I would have gotten an alert when it was available. And I'm glad I was still able to get one. But y'all had seen me say I wanted to get one for a while now. Let's see if he's got it on this one. See if he does it on this one. Oh, that's a thick boy. I'm gonna love that knife. Oh, it comes with both sides? I thought it only came with the one side. Yeah, I'm gonna love that knife. They're both... I'm confused. Yeah, I guess he had a picture of... Yeah, why does it come with... two sides? I guess they both swap out, huh? Yeah, Pyrotech with the Kraken. They make removable scales. All right. What else to look at today? I am not sure. I absolutely cannot wait for the Mojaves. I noticed that they even have the notch in the backspacer like Pete needed to make for his Spyderco, like the original Mojaves. I was watching the video, and you can see down in the video when he's turning the knife over, you can see they put the notch in the backspacer like it's supposed to have. And all the milling and stuff on the backspacer. Here's a picture of when I got done bead blasting the SLT and the Dixon. And the Dixon looks super clean. The texture looks pretty clean on the SLT too. The Dixon already had some of those little scratches, but it looks way cleaner, in my opinion, now. It doesn't have all those different colors. So I bead blasted this one last night along with the clip. Yeah, I guess that's why he didn't do it in the video, mister. Because you have to take the clip off. But yeah, those turned out pretty good. And then here's the video I was talking about, where you can see the notch in the... Come on, act right. So you can't see it in any of the pictures, but on the video here, you can see right here when he goes to rotate it. You can see right there, it's got the notch down in there for the blade to go into. So that was cool to see. You can't see it on the picture of the parts because they've got it laying sideways. But the milling on it looks super clean all throughout. Sorry. Everything looks great about the milling. The only difference is the detent hole and the pin that they use to adjust the detent. But everything else looks great. Yeah. That sucks, Mitchell. Before and after. Quite the difference. Well, I hope y'all learned a little something this morning. Learned that I'm an idiot sometimes and forget to do things like fingernail polish the pivot area when I know that. But like I said, I was half asleep. I got these backwards. I didn't even notice that. Wow. I put the pivot on the wrong side on the black one. It's supposed to go on the... All right, no harm, no foul. Only takes a couple of screws, get it apart, so let's fix that. Where's my nickel? If I had a nickel for every time I mess up on stream, I would be a wealthy guy. It's all good, Nick. All right. There's that. There's that. There's that and that. There's that. That. There's that. There's that and that. There's that. Oh, has it got a D-shaped pivot? I hope so. Yes, it does. That is why you do it that way. And it needs to go up towards the top here. About right there. Boom. Nailed it. Wow, a nickel really like locks into this thing. Come on, titanium screw. All right. Like I said, no harm, no foul. Locked up. Locked up. Now they look the same. Now we're good to go. If you want to look up the other, before I end this, I will show y'all something really quick. If you want to look up Type 3 black titanium anodization, there's Type 2 and Type 3 and you can hard coat. So here we go. And you can also add dye to the process. And if you look up the Google patent for this, it shows it. But this company offers the Type 2 and Type 3. This is not the one I was wanting to look at. I thought it might have been it, but Type 2 and Type 3 are a lot thicker, and I want to say it went up all the way to 2 millimeters thick. Sulfuric acid bath, and you can add dye, but when you look up Google patent, black anodization titanium, there's a patent in the Google patents, and it tells you how many parts of manganese sulfate, and they use chemical pure potassium dichromate. So right here's the breakdown: 20 to 60 parts of potassium dichromate, 10 to 20 parts of pure manganese sulfate, and 2 to 4 parts of industrial pure blackening solution, 25 to 55 parts of pure ammonium sulfate, and 1,000 parts of distilled water. So those numbers are how many milliliters to liters, basically. But this patent will tell you the mixture that this place in China does, and it's probably one of the bigger places that a lot of places send their parts to get blackened. But it has got a lot more stuff in it than just manganese sulfate. So that's pretty cool to check out sometime. A little something to do some research on. I've got the beakers, and I've got a magnetic stirrer. I've got a heat plate with a magnetic stirrer that we could use at some point. And but that's one of the processes. There's another, I think this is the same one. No, this is another one. And this goes through the patent process on how to do it. And it talks about right down here, this is the hydrofluoric and nitric acid, sodium phosphate, sodium silicate. But some of these patents will give you a lot of information. Here's the manganese sulfate voltage, 10 to 25 volts for 4 to 15 minutes. And it goes through the steps on how to do it. So I'll share both of those links to both of those patents. It's a bunch of good information, but it's nerd stuff also. So if you're not a nerd, you might not want to look into all that, but there's lots of us nerds out there who do. I always want to learn a better process of doing something. More than one way to skin a cat, I guess you would say. Got knife parts floating around over there. I was trying to make sure I don't lose. Anyway, guys, hope you have a great Thursday. And get accomplished what all you need to get accomplished today. I'm going to relax until I have to go to work tonight. And get ready for the snow tomorrow. There will be lots of people buying out all the stuff in the stores today. Yeah, thank y'all for joining me today. Michael, thank you, sir. Thank you, TC. Yep, more than one way to skin a black cat. And I know, Pete, I know you like learning different methods and stuff, so go check out those 2 patents I linked right up there. Click on them and save them before they're not available in the live video anymore. And go back and read them. They have the breakdown of all the mixtures to help you out. Where did my lighter go? Oh, where did my lighter go? Well, there it is. Good deal, Pete. I've done lots of research on it, and it's not something they try to tell you how to do easily, especially the good process. This process, I would say, is the worst of all of them. So if we got this kind of results with the worst process, those other ones will be better. I do have hydrofluoric and sulfuric acid, so we're going to try that at some point. Anyway, guys, appreciate y'all. Knives are life. Robert Jones, you have a good day too, sir. Everybody else that popped in here, thank you for being here. If you would, smash that like button to help the algorithm. We will be at it, same bat time, same bat channel, tomorrow to talk about some knives again. Tomorrow will be New Drop Friday, so try to find some new knives today you want to show us. Yeah, I'm not sure, mister. I'm sure they do it for durability. Yeah, and the weight savings from not having to paint. Mitchell, have a good day, sir. All right, guys, I am out of here.